Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is for you. My name is Eva Marie Everson. I am the director of Florida Christian Writers Conference, as well as the president of Word Weavers International. And my trusty sidekick today is below me. I'm not sure where she is on your screen, but she's below me. So who is this?
Hi, I'm Taryn Souders. On my screen, I'm to your left. So I was like, oh, I got fired. And then now it's Linda as her trusty sidekick. I'm Taryn Souders. I am the vice president of Word Weavers International, and I'm the co-director of the Florida Christian Writers Conference. And today, the fantastic couple that we're going to be interviewing are the people who run our bookstore, and they rock it big time. They've been doing it for a while, and they know exactly what they're doing. They're so fun. And it is John and Linda Gilden. So thank y'all for being here today.
Oh, we are so excited you're coming back. For a couple of years, we have missed you. We've had illness, we had COVID, we had all kinds of things going on. So you're coming back this year, and tell us a little bit, Linda and John, about what we have at the Florida Christian Writers Conference, and maybe even what makes it unique.
There are a lot of things about the Florida Christian Writers Conference that are unique. In fact, one of the most unique things is it was the first conference I ever went to.
Oh, wow, that's true. Oh, can I just interrupt you to tell a funny story about Linda and me at the Florida conference? Linda, you may or may not remember this. You're laughing already, so I have a feeling you do. But when Billy Wilson ran the conference, Linda was part of registration. And Linda and I go way, way back. And so I got in line, and as I got close enough to Linda where I knew she could hear me, I started acting up. I started saying things like, oh my gosh, why is this woman taking so long? Don't they have anybody here that can do this a little quicker than this woman's doing it? And of course, Linda looked up at me, and she saw it was me, and she smiled, and she knew I was cutting up with her. But I forgot that maybe the woman in front of me would know that Linda and I were good friends. And so she turned around and very kindly said, it's not a good idea to get on the bad side of the faculty on the first day. And so, of course, later on, when I was introduced as faculty, she came up to me and she said, oh, I get it. I get it. You two are cutting up with each other. And I said, yes, but you know what? You're exactly right. And let that be a lesson to everybody. And I was just cutting up with Linda, forgetting that there were two people in front of me. So anyway, Linda took it like a trooper, but the woman in front of me reminded me that you never know who's listening. And so it's very important what you say at a conference center, and the walls are thin and that kind of thing. Go back, Linda, to talking about the conference and the bookstore.
Well, when we first began to do bookstores, we were so excited because it gives us such an opportunity to serve our people that are at the conference. And, it's so much fun just to walk around the walls and the tables and look at the books and see the variety we have and read the back covers so that we know a little bit about the book. So when people come in and say, have you got a book about this? Or do you have Eva Marie Everson's book? And we just say, which one? And, so it really, it's helped us to be able to familiarize ourselves with the books, but then it's so much fun to be able to show them what it is that they're looking for and tell them, this could not be a better resource for you in the situation you're in. So I feel like we're in the bookstore, if you want to call it a business, at our conference. But the big exciting thing about it is it helps so many people. It's a service for us to be able to do it. And it's also the opportunity to get these books into the hands of people who really, really need them. And so we're excited about that. We love being able to do that. We love meeting people and talking to people in the bookstore. And we get some pretty interesting questions in there.
Oh, I bet you do.
Everything from what should I wear to have my picture made,
Yeah.
and from that area all the way to, can you tell me how to write a proposal for my next book? And
there you go. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about the bookstore, number one, is when we go in, when y'all set it up, it's like a legit bookstore. It is not some fly by night, just put your books wherever. It looks so professional how y'all set it up. And it kind of becomes like, how the kitchen is where everyone gathers in a home. The bookstore ends up being like this mega gathering spot, and people will just come and start mingling and gathering and purchasing, which is always great. But it is a fun place to hang out for sure.
Yeah, and to that end, one of the things I want to mention is that now that we are in McGuire, and you guys haven't been there since we were transferred to McGuire. Now that we're in McGuire, right when you walk in, if you look to the right, that's registration. But if you look to the left, there's the bookstore, and so it's all right there. But you're right. This is where people gather. This is where people, they start sharing ideas. They're talking about this great meeting that they just had. They're looking for a book that someone told them to come and find. But John and Linda, it's more than just a bookstore. What else is in the FCWC bookstore?
We have the unique opportunity in our bookstore to have items that have been made by our conferees, our attendees, our teaching staff. And so we're able to showcase some of those types of things as well. Most of them are writing related. We don't invite people to have a private craft show in our bookstore.
Yeah.
We just don't have the space. We wish we could accommodate every single thing everybody wanted to do, but that's not the purpose of this bookstore. But if you have writing related items, I have a bracelet I wear a lot that Taryn made that says writer.
Yeah.
A Scrabble little.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scrabble tiles. I remember that.
I have my earrings that have the E Scrabble tile. Yeah, that Taryn made. Yes.
So there's an opportunity not only to shop for books, but to shop maybe for gifts for people in your writers group. See, we're in October this year, and that means that it's almost Christmas. So
That's right.
the writer on your list, and this would be a great time to shop for that. But we try to be to limit that type of thing since it is a bookstore, but at the same time, we want to provide that service of unique items and gift items that they can purchase and take back to writer friends.
Yeah, there's like last year we had someone who was selling these awesome coffee mugs. And of course, coffee mugs or tea mugs and writing do go together.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yes, they do. And so there are things like that. But like you say, yeah, this is not necessarily your private craft show. So keep that in mind. Now, that leads me to another question. Is this only for faculty, or can the conferees bring their books and bring their goods as well?
It's for both. We hope that conferees who have books will also bring some and put in the bookstore.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
How many do you recommend that they bring, John?
That's a great question.
I'm smiling because we were talking about this morning and the things that we wanted to make sure that we communicated. And he said something about conferees and attendees. I said, well, the next question is, and he said, what? And I said, how many books do we bring? And so that's a very common question. Unfortunately, it's a question that we cannot specifically answer. We would suggest that maybe you bring 6 to 10 copies of each title. It depends. If you're teaching a class, you'll probably sell a few more than that, or doing a keynote. If you're a conferee getting to know people, then you may not sell quite as many this first year. And so it kind of depends on all of that. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind is that we do not ship books back. So if you are shipping your books, if you are going to send us 100 books of one title, you got to figure out how to get them back. So
that's right.
I would not recommend at all that you bring more than maybe 6 to 10, or if you're teaching, maybe a dozen or a dozen and a half or something like that.
Yeah, that's I think is a good suggestion. And please understand that, typically those who are teaching workshops, the faculty, our keynote speaker, they are going to sell more books than anyone else. It's not a reflection on your work. It's just the way that goes. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that we don't store them for you. We don't keep them. We don't ship them back. You are responsible for that. So, keep that in mind when you are shipping books. We did have one year where I don't remember who it was, but someone left a bunch of books. And I'm like, not a thing I can do about this. So it's just by the time we get to the end of the conference, folks, we are tired. And we've been at this for months. And so shipping your books back it's just not on the high list of things we want to do. Taking the vacation is on the high list of things we want to do. Going to the beach or just staring at a wall like that is on the list of things we want to do. Now, but to that end, shipping the books there, and we do have some instructions and we do have a form. And if you haven't already seen that, we do need to talk about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the inventory form. Oh, Taryn has it.
Yay, Taryn.
Yay.
This is why I hired her.
Yeah, we ask that everyone who will be placing books in the bookstore or items in the bookstore complete the form before you get there. So it'll make checking in the books and checking your items go a lot quicker. And then when you, at the end of the conference, if there are any books left and you pick them up, then we'll have an inventory of how many were sold, and we'll be able to give you an accounting of that.
What about having them priced already? Let's talk about that.
If we ask that you price them with removable stickers, and it's easier for us if you put the sticker on the front cover of the book, because that way it'll be a lot easier for us to find where it is. We won't have to search for the price on it.
Okay.
And we ask that you price them round it to the nearest dollar.
Yes. Right. Yes.
And
maybe a nice discount too, because we all know anybody can jump on Amazon, but we want to support the authors. We want to support each other. 20% goes to the bookstore, and this helps with paying our faculty. This helps with flying people in. This helps with scholarships, etc. All this goes back toward the conference. This is not us getting rich, trust me. This is about us helping you. So there is that 20% that we will keep. Let's see.
One more thing about the inventory form.
Please do. Yes, I was about to go to a question about the inventory, and you may be answering it.
Well, people don't realize probably exactly how important that form is to us, because it lets us know what's in the bookstore, lets us keep track of it and that sort of thing. Without fail, almost every bookstore, at some point, someone's going to rush in and say, I need to borrow one of my books. I want to show it to my friend I'm sitting to, or I want to take it to class and show it to my teacher, or I want to do this, I want to do that. If you are planning to show your book to anybody, do not put it on your inventory form. Keep it in your room until you want to show it, give it away. Because what happens is people look at us and they go, well, it's my book. Well, yeah, it is your book, but in order for you to take it out of our inventory, we have to get the form out, change the form, and then if you bring it back, we have to change the form again, because we want to be fair to everybody. If you take that book and forget to bring it back, then you have essentially sold one more book than you really sold. Yes. And so, we're just trying to be fair about it. It sounds like we are the bookstore police, and we don't mean to be that way. We love helping bookstore people. But the fact is that if you have the accurate records, it's easier to do.
Yeah, and the thing is we know that no one does that on purpose. No one forgets on purpose.
Sure.
But the conference is just, zoom, 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 zoom. And it's just easy to forget. Or like you said, you end up giving it to someone and then you forget to come back in and say, instead of 10, I need to say 9. And it's just a natural thing. I've done it myself. And, get my form and think, oh, you know what? I came in here and grabbed a book. And that was before I was a conference director. And now that I am a conference director, I certainly don't do that anymore. So if you want to bring a couple of extra copies or, a couple of extra anything to keep in your room, be sure to do that.
See, that's a great idea. And, put 2 or 3 in your suitcase and ask God who to give them to.
Absolutely.
Let him use them in ministry. And as you are navigating the conference, he'll show you somebody that needs a book of one of yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we've heard so many great stories over the years about people who were just given a book and it was the book they needed. Or, you know, a situation where someone was actually the one holding the book and heard that still small voice and they gave the book away or they gave something away. You know, just it's always so much fun to see that because that's God at work and that's God at work through you. So that's a pretty cool thing.
Okay, so I have a quick question.
Okay, go ahead.
We have people coming in Tuesday night, first thing Wednesday morning, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Is it, you know, you have one day to check in your books, and if you miss that day, oh well, or can people check in their stuff to the bookstore at any point?
Well, see, here's where you get that we're really not the police because we do have hours for that, which helps us. But we're pretty lenient about that. We don't want everybody to say, well, that time doesn't suit me. I'm going to visit with my friend during that time. Please try to honor the hours that we have set because we did it for a reason. It's much easier to get them all in, arrange them all at one time than to have to keep moving them around. But do you remember the hours that we talked about some hours and I hope they g-haul with what y'all have thought.
We were talking about 8:30 to 11 and 1 to 5.
Yeah, Tuesday night though, we're going to check them in.
Tuesday night.
We're going to check some in Tuesday night, and that'll be probably mostly people who are there for Wednesday for the kids lit. And
6:30 to 8 on Tuesday night, and then Wednesday from we've got actually 3 check-in times: 9 to 10, 1 to 5, and 8 to 9:30.
So definitely there's some flexibility there, which is great. What if someone is, let's say they're a conferee or let's say they're a teacher, but they're only teaching for one day. Can they ship their books to the conference center and have them put into the store Wednesday morning, even though they're not there, if they send their inventory form with their books?
Of course, yes, that will be fine.
as long as they take them with them when they leave. If
Yeah.
they're only
Right, that's right.
day.
Otherwise, we thank you for your donation.
That's right.
Your donation or yeah.
We will be giving them away next year.
And that's not as absolute as it sounds. I mean, if you need to ship your books back, find a friend, ask your roommate, bring your mailing label and all of that, and just box them up and give them to your roommate. But we as the bookstore cannot take care of everybody who's shipped books and get them shipped back. I'm not sure that I'll fit in our car to take somewhere.
Well, you know, what's fun too, though, is I was at a conference recently and because of COVID, the registration was extremely low. I didn't know really how to prepare. I had shipped a bunch of books there. And so, you know, only a few sold because there was only a few people there. I'm going to take it. That's why only a few sold, but definitely not the number that I had expected based on having been at this conference before. And so here I am with these books that I'm going to have to throw in my luggage. And I know it's going to throw me over the 50 pounds, you know, for sure. And so I just started giving books away. And it was, I don't know, it was kind of thrilling for me. And then I said to people, you know, hey, you know, would you like a book? Would you like a book, et cetera? And they, of course, they said yes, although a couple of people said, well, I don't read fiction. Well, that's fine. I'll keep it to myself then. But I just said, you know, would you do me a favor? Would you write a review for me? And they, you know, if you like it, if you don't like it, just keep it to yourself. So, you know, and I've seen some of these reviews popping up and I know who they are. And so, you know, you just never know. Like I said, maybe it's just time to bless somebody else instead of playing books back, you know. So
sometimes you get paid with a review.
Absolutely. Yeah, those reviews are important. John and Linda, is there anything else that we need to know?
Let us look at our list. We made a list, so we
Good.
Let me ask a question. Obviously you take cash. Do you take credit card and checks at the bookstore?
Absolutely.
Do you do Apple Pay or any of that newfangled stuff? Or are we fairly traditional with cash, credit card, and checks?
I think we're pretty traditional unless one of you wants to give us a tutorial before we start.
I can barely figure out how to
Every
square
year,
in my
it's
phone.
enough
No.
trying to remember square, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and that's a lot of that. 3 is enough choices, I would think.
I think
Most
so too.
people either
Yes,
got-
yes.
They're traveling, so they've either got cash, a credit card, or a check.
Yes.
If there's a problem with that, we'll be happy to discuss it, but we're not quite sure how that will work.
Now, the first few months of registration, those people were given a 20% or will be given a 20% off coupon for the bookstore, and that's for their entire purchase. So some
That's
people do come in and they start their little stacks, because I know I have seen behind the table, you got your little stacks going because they want 20% off of their entire purchase and they don't want to ring it up right away. So yes, you can do that. Just don't forget when the bookstore is going to officially be closed, because we do have to wrap everything up.
And on that note, that's really smart, Eva, because don't think that because you see that book or that t-shirt or that mug or whatever there on Wednesday that you'll just grab it on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. Get it then and start your stack, because these things disappear. People run out of books. At Blue Ridge, I didn't bring enough books. I was sold out in like 3 days, and I was like, well, I should have brought more. And people were coming up saying, do you have any more? I'm like, I'm so sorry, I don't. So grab those things when you can.
Yeah, I think that's one thing too that we need to impress upon people. We cannot hold books forever and ever. So what we'd love to do is to put a 24-hour, we'll hold it for you for 24 hours. We will not hold any books on Saturday, because there's no 24 hours after that, because Saturday night is when we close, and then Sunday will be for people to pick up their books. But don't ask us to hold them the rest of the week. If you put them in that stack and we put your name on it, we're going to put the time on it also. And so 24 hours after that, they'll go back into inventory.
Okay.
And someone else can take them home.
Commit.
That's right. We need a commitment from you. Yes. Okay. So John and Linda, are there any other items on your list?
Let's see. What else have we got on the list?
Well, we've got the display space.
Yeah, one of the things we just want everybody to know is, and it'll be different if we're going to be in McGuire, maybe from when we were in that little room, we may have more space.
You have more space.
Yeah, you have a lot more space.
You have like twice as much room.
Yeah.
So that probably is not an issue. You know, when we were in that smaller room, we had to be careful to inventory and to fill up the display space. We were constantly, it was turning over. And so if you are bringing books and you're going to put books under the table for replenishing your inventory, those need to be counted on your sheet as well.
And price.
And price.
Everything,
just like they were going on the table to begin with. And we'll be happy to take them out from under the table for you and put them on there as your supply diminishes. But we'd like them to be priced, and they need to be already counted in the inventory. And that is really important. Some people don't really quite get that, but it means that we can keep a correct inventory.
Right, exactly. It's the number of items you brought, not the number of items on the table.
On the table.
Correct. Yeah. So, but I think that's all. You know, we certainly are willing for you to answer questions. If anybody needs to email us, and they can email me at linda@lindagilden.com, or
You can you can send one to me at John D as in dog Gilden at gmail.com. Forgot which one I was on.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you again this year. We're looking forward to the bookstore. Always a lot of fun. We are probably going to do much like we did last year. I don't know that we had the clear gloves. If anybody wanted to do the gloves, we may do that again this year. We may not, but we'll have plenty of hand sanitizer and things like that, because people are picking things up and looking, and we just want to do everything we can to keep everyone as safe as possible at Florida Christian Writers Conference. Taryn, your dog just came to see me.
Oh, hey, Charlie.
Charlie Brown. So thank you again, John and Linda. We look forward to seeing you again.
We're looking
Taryn,
forward to
quick,
it too. We
we-
appreciate the opportunity to be there.
Oh, absolutely. We're just so glad you're coming back. Taryn, we are doing something slightly different this year. We did it with Liz years ago, a couple of years ago. Bill Myers is going to have a book signing just for Bill. What's
Yes,
that again? When is that? It's on Saturday?
it is on Saturday, I believe from 1 to 1:30. So it's right after lunch.
Right after lunch.
And he will be at the bookstore. We'll have a table set up. So if you have bought any of Bill Myers' books that week, instead of like hunting him down throughout the week, just hold on to them and come to that book signing. It's Saturday from 1 to 1:30. And he is planning on just parking himself in a chair for 30 minutes. And then he's got to go catch a plane. So that'll be a great time for him to sign those off to you.
And we'll have a camera there. It's a photo
Wrap a
op.
paper.
Yeah, yeah.
Photo op. Yeah, put your name, like however you, this really helped, trust me, learned this from experience. If you have a Post-it note, maybe even we can just have some available.
Yeah.
If you will write what you want him to sign, to John Bob, love Uncle Frank, whatever you want on there, and just stick it on the cover of the book. And when you hand it to him, he knows exactly, he's not asking you how to spell something or how you want it signed. It can move that line very quickly.
That's right. Very good. All right. Okay. So we'll see you on the 19th, John and Linda. For those who are coming in on the 19th to get that little bit of sleep, that extra night of sleep, so you don't have to hit the ground running on Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning does begin Kids Lit. If you're bringing things in, faculty, for Kids Lit, you'll be able to sign that in on Tuesday, conferees as well. And gosh, we're talking what, 4 weeks from now?
Yeah.
Exciting. It's exciting. Okay, so we'll see you all soon. And
Wonderful.
talk to you next time.